Hello, Aquarius. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully you can hear and see me well. Just want to give everything a chance to get started here. Okay, I can see myself, so I know you're here and I'm here. All right, my name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. Welcome to your monthly forecast. I always look forward to wrapping up the month with you in Pisces because just always a really good energy, always great messages that come through. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This little furry assistant here is Apollo. And today is a really important day because I just got this beautiful image coming through as I was meditating and preparing for the reading. Baby's breath is going to be our totem today that we'll be looking at. And for me, that's such a really nice energy of milestones that it feels like the next month for you is going to be punctuated by those milestones. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how that's going to pan out for everybody in the sign. And I'm here to help guide you through it. I gave you a quick preview of what's going on here. Right here, you'll see the basic format for today. The only thing that's missing from that is I'm also doing some specific messages for sun, rising, and moon. You can see right to this side that the whole reading, as a whole can be used for sun, rising, and moon, but I'm also putting some specific messages right before I do the meditation, so that's something new. Everything else is as usual. We'll begin with channeled messages, which is things that come to me as I meditate, oftentimes in dreams as well. And then we'll also look at the Celtic Cross after that, help you navigate all the ups, downs, and in-betweens. And I always like to get interactive in the next portion, so we'll look at a big idea, blessings and blocks, and then you have a chance to vote on some things that we see as a trend here, and then I'll also take a look at some things. And I always put in a meditation and a chance to answer a question at the end. And again, today we'll also be doing sign-specific messages, so don't worry. We'll talk about each one of those things as we kind of navigate it and get into it. But first things first, if you're new here, hit the subscribe button because you can't actually chat until you're a subscriber. So that's just one of the privileges of subscribing. It's absolutely free. It helps the channel. It's just a way to show support. And if you would like to also show support, you can just hit the like button. It's very helpful. You can hit the bell for notifications, or you can join me on social media because I always let you know what's coming through that day on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook in particular, using stories and tweets, etc. So I'd love for you to give me a follow. I pinned a link in the live comments here, and feel free to give me a follow there if you'd like to. All right, and finally, the one way that you can show support in a live reading is through SuperChats, SuperStickers, and memberships. Sometimes I get a question about, do I have a PayPal option, or etc. Yes, you can actually go to my website, and there's an area called patrons, but in that is like memberships, PayPal, all the different ways you can give back, and I just put a link to that if you want to be a part of that. All right. My schedule's listed. We have 3 more videos. This is one of them to wrap up this month. So you today, Pisces on Thursday, and then I have a special bonus reading this Friday. I'll be doing a collective again Sunday, kicking off the new month, and then Aries on the following Monday. All right, so let's get into the channel messages. Before we do that, 2 things. I'd like to light a candle with you today. I've already done the rest of them, but given that we're kind of on this precipice of new things, if there's something that you're specifically trying to release or trying to bring about, let's set an intention for that. So think about what it is that you want to either let go of or bring into your life, and close your eyes, see a beautiful circle of light around you as you connect to your source energy, and let's call that into existence. Let's say that you're ready to open the door, okay? And we'll see what comes through as we do that. It's always good to set some intentions, okay? Also, I'll ask for any guidance on how you can best navigate those ends and beginnings, okay? So let me get the presentation ready. Welcome, everybody. It's good to see you. And we'll get started here, okay? So as I said, baby's breath is going to be the really cool totem that's coming through. There's a second piece that also comes through as a part of this because it's named after a mineral that is in the ground where it kind of grows, the gypsum sort of rock or mineral. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. All right, baby's breath. It's a flower. Most of us know what it looks like. I took a quick screenshot of a Google image search just in case you're not familiar with it. Most of us have seen a sprig of this in a bouquet. A lot of times it's used as filler, but you'll see it particularly with weddings and baby showers and sometimes with funerals as well. So that's what it looks like. You can do a Google image search yourself. I can't really feature a main image here because of rights, but that's just a quick snapshot in case you don't know. Little tiny flowers that you see in most bouquets. Let's talk about some fun facts about this. First of all, it's a pretty big sort of genus here, as we saw. You can see all kinds of different colors from white to pink, 150 different varieties of these sort of herbaceous, which kind of like shrub-like flowers that grow on hills and sort of steppe-like regions. They were saying mountainous steppes, so not close to the water, just kind of like on the mountains and the hills. It's related to carnations in the same family, and it's native in Europe, Asia, Africa, Australia, Turkey, and Pacific Islands. It's all over the place, basically. Let's talk about why it's an important symbol for you. The first one kind of made me think of The Sound of Music when I was seeing where it grew on some of those mountainous steppe regions. It reminded me of that song where they're saying, like, climb every mountain. I think it was the Mother Superior that was singing that. So to me, in tarot, this would be very much connected to the Ten of Wands. Oftentimes, when we're right on the precipice of completion of any given task, there's this sense of, oh, how am I going to do this? This is Nine of Wands has it, but 10 of Wands as well. And in the United States, when I don't know if they still call it this, but like your senior year, sometimes it's called senioritis. It's like you just have a hard time focusing on the tests and the activities and everything because you're just ready to graduate. You're ready to get out in the real world. You're ready to either get a job, go to college, do an apprenticeship, do something. So you might be having that sense of, I'm done already. Why am I still doing it? Well, the Ten of Wands is completion, but it isn't completed. It's the act of completion. So the number one thing that my sort of guides were bringing through is don't fall short of the quality of, your performance during this final step of the journey. Don't get too impatient. Try to have some fun because, looking back now, I wish, in any given moment, you always wish you could have just, drank that energy in just a little bit more and thought, one more moment, one more sort of, chance to just be present. So that's my advice here with the Ten of Wands is be present. Climb every mountain, which means that if there's something that really calls to you, in the movie Sound of Music, it was basically Maria, the main character. She was hiding from her life, and her mentor in the movie was saying, you know what? You need to take a break and you need to try this out before you commit to something else, before you sort of settle for something. Go and climb that mountain and see what it brings you. And so we can kind of take that energy of, it would be a lot easier just to sit here because it's safe and it's predictable, et cetera, but I'm going to go through the effort of climbing the mountain to see what's waiting for me, to see if this is better or this is better. That's all her mentor was asking her to do, was to consider the options. A little bit of work required, but a very rewarding outcome if you're really ready and willing to do it, actually. And then really embrace this sort of idea once you do come to fruition, whatever your plan is, that I did it. Sit in that moment for a second. Don't just rush to the next thing. We're so sometimes focused on the next thing. It's a little bit like it's anticlimactic sometimes if we don't just relax and enjoy. So climb that mountain, get that vista, and really decide, how do I feel here right now? What was that journey worth it? Is this sort of challenge something that's also calling to me too? Get your perspective, get your intentions set. And that's going to be super important for you. So, as I said, this particular flower is used in a myriad of floral arrangements. I really do most associate it with like weddings and baby showers and baby births, but it's also in funeral arrangements. And I think that's important. It's a milestone. So the Sun card, one of the many baby cards in tarot. The only one that I didn't feature here is Six of Cups, but we'll talk more about that in a second. Like its name, baby's breath, it represents that birthing, rebirthing, or sort of letting go energy. It's transformative, so step into it and think of it as a playful opportunity. Thinking back, like I'll use school as a metaphor because most of us have been through it at some point. Think of the first day of school. Maybe not as a kid, but maybe think of like 3rd, 4th grade, 5th grade, middle school, high school. We can all remember like whether you're going to a new school or it was a pivotal grade that we were entering, that feeling of anxiety, excitement, curiosity, that's what's coming through for this month. There's an opening for you. We're entering into a retrograde. We just got through Easter. There was an Orthodox Easter. There was Easter before that. There's this energy of spring for us in the Northern Hemisphere, fall in the Southern. And so transformation, shifting. So birthing is a perfect sort of metaphor for this as well. Letting go and then also possibly starting. So it's always a revolving door when we look at beginnings. Ends and beginnings go together. But have some fun with it, and that's what the sun does. And when you are having fun, you're magnetic. If I look at a relationship spread and the sun comes through, it's playful, it's joyful, it's chemistry, but chemistry in a way that usually it's just sort of really, really, you're not even thinking about it, you're just having a good time, you're beaming. That kind of energy pulls people in. And that's why the sun is such a powerful symbol in tarot. Just like our own star, the sun, it pulls everything in. So if you can get into that positivity, you can beam, you can have that gravity, you can have that pull, and that's really what I hope you can have right now, Aquarius, because it's a really powerful energy. All right, first steps. So the last steps are sometimes the hardest, as are the first steps. Are you seeing a trend here? Ends and beginnings. Move forward with a sense of curiosity, presence, which is possibly the most important thing, presence of mind in particular, and optimism. Because if we enter into something new with the feeling like it's probably not going to work out, or I never have luck in this, or I don't know why I'm doing this, the universe thinks, well, we didn't know why you're doing it either. Are you not ready? Do you not believe in yourself? Do you need some tests? You don't need some tests. You want to sort of feel like, you want to feel that I'm ready, I'm deserving of this, and I'm open to see what this brings forth. The Fool doesn't overthink. It's both the best and the worst piece of the Fool. But if I were to garner something to say, could really help you, it's that the Fool moves forward and just lets things be. Both of these cards do that because they're the youngest in tarot. The Sun, it's just focused on how it feels. The Fool, it just wants to look around. It's curious. These are good energies for beginnings. We have to be open. We have to be playful. If we're too weighed down with preconceived notions, with biases, for instance, it's difficult to be able to embrace opportunities, okay? All things have ends and beginnings. You're facing a beginning. Yes, there's this end, but yes, there's a beginning too. So what you could do right now to be most effective is to take a moment and assess your risks. There's always a risk with the Fool card, but it's a calculated risk once you understand it. Educate yourself on what's going on. That's the best way to assuage or to get rid of fears, and then let it go. That's why we just started with the birthing card, and now we're walking around and looking at things, right? All right. So, because we're talking about all the beginnings, there has to be something to let go of. So mourning and release is part of it. And you're like, really, Nicholas, did you have to pull the death card? Yes, it's transformation, it's change. Think of death less as, oh my goodness, and more as, yes, let's see what's coming through. It's a revolving door. Death is not just a punctuated point. We're constantly going through transformative moments in our life. It's human nature, just before we leave, to look back and see where we came from. So do it. It's good. It's something that we actually do when we leave this planet. We go into life review. An example of this, because I was just moving some stuff out of an apartment, not this one, but a relative, I was moving their stuff out. And I just looked at the place because they're no longer here. And once I moved all the things out of the apartment, the person is no longer here. And I was looking at everything and I thought, that's an end of a chapter. I took a moment to just sort of like say goodbye to everything and put the keys inside, lock the door and shut it. And it was symbolic, and it was also really cleansing, because you need to sort of be present in these moments. If you've ever left an office, you usually have like a box, you put your plants, you put your stuff in there. Same sort of thing. You look behind you and you think, that was something, that was an experience. What did I get from it? Why did it take me so long maybe to decide to move to this next thing? It's a little life review. So we go through them while we're living. We definitely go through it when we pass. And you have a chance right now to kind of have, I talk about this frequently, a living life review. Even if nothing's changed in your life right now, Are you happy? You can kind of have these prompts in your head to decide, am I where I need to be? And that's what this death card is asking you. Are you fulfilled in what you're doing? Relationship, job, etc. Is there something that you desire? Climb every mountain, like the Mother Superior was saying in The Sound of Music. So if there is, that message comes through for you too. Is there something you're holding on to and wondering, when can I do this? When will I be this? When is it my turn? Because the whole birthing energy of this period of time is saying the time is now. So it's a wake-up call if nothing's going on. It's affirmation if you're already stepping into or away from something. And it's exciting. I love reading when this kind of symbology comes through or symbols come through, right? The very last bullet on here is the most important. The last two, actually. There's a chance to transform, to mold, or to transmute right here, right now. And then that last one, embracing the alchemic energy, is what's going to be empowering, fun, playful, educational, because you're not just going from one thing to another. This is where death is a more elevated energy than either the sun or the fool, because it knows what's going on and it decides, I'm going to transform, I'm going to change, I need to do this, right? So that's why you have to kind of think about a combination, that release. It's the same energy as birthing. Death and birth, they come together. And it's part of the cycle of life. So you have to have both in order to continue that cycle, all right? So something needs to be released. That's the big thing that I keep picking up on for you. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the second totem, which was gypsum, which I remember back when I was in college. I took a couple of geology classes. I remember some of this stuff. Anyway, it's a pretty soft rock or mineral. But anyway, the genus name for baby's breath is, it comes from gypsum. Basically it's this sort of soft sulfate mineral that comprises several things that we use, like plaster, chalk, and drywall. So when we think of these things, they are flexible sort of products. I don't think kids use this as much anymore, but when we were going, like, let's say 20, 30, 40 years ago, you would use chalkboards, and now it's probably like dry erase boards. But whenever I think of something like this, for me, it's a chance to sort of like brainstorm, because you would have a chance to put something semi-permanent up there that you could erase, but it's kind of like that brainstorming energy, which we'll talk about in a moment. The drywall piece is the most important sort of element of this symbol that I can think of, because to me, this means that you can break down a wall or build a wall. So you can either kind of like put yourself in a structure and create something, or you can break it down if it doesn't feel like it fits you anymore. You're the construction person here. And I put the Great Work card, which is the Three of Pentacles, because with this one, if you really put your entirety into something, which we'll see it when I look at the Eight of Pentacles, but it's leading you up to this, which is recognition, which is completion, which is a solid structure. But it requires craftsmanship and expertise and intention. And it ties into the very next card, which is Eight of Pentacles. So before we can get to that Three of Pentacles, what has to happen sometimes is education, to sometimes put yourself into a situation where you can kind of soak things up. So just allowing yourself to really be, again, present, to research, to educate. Some of you may want to also focus on teaching or exchanging or delivering knowledge through curriculum, through writing, through public speaking. So there's all of this expansive energy at your disposal this month. It's really up to you what you want to do. But learning is definitely a piece of it. Building is definitely a piece of it. And then letting go or starting something new. It's exciting. So far, probably one of the best symbols this month, full stop. So I mean, I actually really enjoyed what we talked about on the weekend, where we were looking at the sort of symbol of a cactus and how it can survive or thrive in anything. So if you haven't looked at my weekend collective, you should take a look at that. But this one is pretty cool, and I don't think I've ever looked at baby's breath before. But we see here a return on your investment. If you decide to put yourself into something, if you really surrender to that, then you're going to get something amazing coming out of that as well. All right? And that's everything in a nutshell. But like, they're all really big cards that you got today, and really big messages that you got today. So I hope that resonates, and I hope that helps you. All right, let's go ahead now and move into the main portion of the reading. We're going to take a look at the Celtic Cross here. Sorry if you just joined. And let me look at the different decks that I'm drawn to use today. There's a couple that are calling to me. And I may just kind of like go with one of these because I love Wildwood, and I think I might use it today just because it's the one that called the most to me. So I'm going to make an executive decision, and for the Celtic Cross, we're going to use Wildwood Tarot. I love it, and something about it today just speaks loudly to me. So let's take a look and see what's coming through for your Celtic Cross today. All right, welcome everyone. I hope you're having a good day. And remember, you can always use this for sun, rising, and moon, and there'll be some specific messages for sun, rising, and moon. If you happen to know other aspects of your chart, including your Venus, anything, you can also use it for that, okay? I get that question all the time, and you can use it for any aspect of your chart. You can watch on behalf of someone else as well. Okay, we got a volunteer there for the deep past. So happy I chose this already. I love the nature energy in this one. It's a nice break from seeing people. I really love nature totems, and this is a really amazing deck if you enjoy reading with totems. It's Wildwood Tarot. You can go to my website if you ever want to see which decks I use. How's everybody doing today? Hopefully well. For the person that's asking, should I watch sun, rising, or moon? Depends on your life experience. You know, each one of those has a different energy. The sun is the default. So if you don't know what to watch, you can always watch your sun. If you're curious about what's going on in business, watch your rising or ascendant. If you want to know about love and relationships, you could look at your Venus. You can also look at your moon sign if you're trying to understand yourself. It's up to you. Depends on where you need the most movement and growth in your life. And again, you can look at any aspect of your chart using any of the videos that I do. So that's really up to you. I can't answer that for you. But sun sign if you don't know what to do. I would also say this. The way that I read is I'm an intuitive, I'm a medium, I'm clairvoyant. So in any particular reading, if you show up, stick around for a little bit and see if there's a message. Because if you're here, I'm reading your energy. So even if it's not exactly your sign, a lot of people will just show up for all my readings because particularly in the channeled messages and sometimes the first moments of the Celtic Cross, there'll be something that resonates. All right, let's look at your catalyst today. We have the prayer card, and this is powerful because we actually just set that intention with that little candle right back there. So one thing that this is reminding you is the importance of asking for something, not demanding, but specifying, saying, I'm ready for this in my life. Help me do the work on myself. Help me be present enough and aware enough to pick up on that. Because if you don't know what you want, neither does the universe. You may have luck. I really believe luck is a synchronicity, but you might stumble upon your purpose or something that opens up. But how much more powerful is it to be intentional about what it is that you're creating and manifesting? And then to really create some space for meditation and to receive the messages as well. And that's really what this is saying too. Slow down a little bit. When you get up to the top of that figurative mountain, pause, breathe, take a look, listen. What is it that's being given to you? Does the universe want you to see, feel, or experience something? If you take a moment or two, you might be surprised by what starts to come through for you, right? So we all have to kind of give ourselves a chance to experience and to be present, all right? The other thing is if you're going through a tough time, this is the card of counseling. You know, you can reach out directly to Source and speak to the divine. So you can pray for strength and assistance and messages. You can also work with a friend, a counselor, you know, someone, even like a doctor, and just say, hey, I need some help. What can I do? So it's about reaching out and asking for help. It's a sign of strength. I can't remember which sign I said this in, but I was talking about leaders, but I would just say strong people, not just leaders, but good leaders, strong individuals, people who are confident and comfortable in themselves, they listen, they ask for help. They're not afraid to reach out. And so that's one of the key messages that just came through for you. Okay, let's look at the cards and let's get some clarity on what's coming through for you. I love the bear cards in this particular deck. We have the Queen of Pentacles here right at the center, so let's take a look at her. We have a mama bear guarding the entrance to her cave, coming out of hibernation, which is really, I think, apropos for a lot of us right now because there is this awakening energy. So for many of you, that's what it is. It's sort of saying, I was very comfortable in this. This was predictable. I liked this, but I'm being drawn over here. And that's going to require me to wake up, to stretch, to put myself out there. Some of us might feel a little grumpy, a little bit protective of ourselves, just like this Queen of Pentacles is. That's okay. That's human nature. Remembering some of the other cards that came through when I was meditating, however, the Sun card and the Fool card, they are a little bit more playful and a little bit more willing to explore. The older that we get, the more we have trouble just putting ourselves out there. We are afraid of what people might say, what they might do, how they might judge us. So letting go of some of that is going to be, I would say, a vital piece to your success this month. This is a card that is house and home. So you might be focusing a lot on where you live, buying a house, renovating. You could also be focusing on family matters like your children or finding a spouse or a mate or something of that nature. And finally, it's just a nurturing card. So, one of the most powerful things you could do this month is decide to invest in yourself. And when it comes to finances, taking a quick scan of all the cards, this is an amazing card, Queen of Pentacles. Let's see here. So far I'm pretty happy if that's the main. We have a balance here, which is more work-life balance. So you're looking pretty good, I have to say. So I'm happy with where you're at with your money. We have a Page of Pentacles here as well. So yeah, I feel like this is actually a really good growth month. You might have to choose between two things that are calling you on the same level and sort of like, what do I do? So I'll try to help you through that this month. I'm not feeling like there's tapped out resources. I feel like instead you're pulled between two very attractive things, whether it's two jobs, two people, job and a person. There's this balance that might be lacking for you, and that's one of the opportunities for growth this month. Let's see what's crossing the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Swords. So for some of you, this is a really cool kind of like relationship energy here, I have to say, because we have a very nurturing energy and we have a very active go-get-'em sort of energy as well. So this would be a good team. If you're in a work environment or a school environment, these are coupled up nicely. This would be someone that could manage projects and money. This is someone that can lead people, speak, get people involved. So nice partnership energy this month. And even if you're just meeting somebody, really great partnership energy. And also if you're in a relationship, good partnership energy. I love it when we get two kings or queens because they're on the same level. They have equal power. So I'll talk more about it when we dig into relationships in a bit, but so far I like it. Just some different ways of communicating. One is a lot more talkative and one is a little bit more kind of practical, pragmatic. This would probably be you since I'm reading for air. This could be your partner, but we'll talk more about that in a bit. Right now, let's focus on what this has to do with you. So some of you have staked a claim on something saying, this is what's important to me. This particular card comes through to say, all right, you have to walk the walk and talk the talk. So what's the follow through going to be? Are you going to put your money where your mouth is? They really go together. So this month you're going to be judged by words and actions. This is a little bit of both. And so how are you going to bring it together? What are you going to do to make the plan a reality? All right. Communication, which is always good for you, is coming through extremely strong this month, and it's going to help you with money. Money, practical matters, and resources. So speak up when it comes to matters of finance or worth or wealth. And we'll talk more about wealth in a bit. We have the firefly there, so that's really a great symbol. So I'm feeling good so far. I feel like it's not a problem of money or resources. It's more sort of like what you want to do with it. All right, let's look at your deep past. This is a little bit challenging. The card is reversed. We have the King of Wands in reverse here, and it's a snake pit, right? So some of you are in a situation where either your work environment, your relationship, and the sort of entanglements with the relationship or your family, there's this kind of like groupthink energy, or there's this trap that someone might be trying to get you into by saying or doing something. You're going to be like the snake that's above all of this, saying, no, I've been in that snake pit before. I've seen that. I've done that before. I'm going to take my own path, or I'm going to stay above that. I'm going to elevate my actions, particularly because King of Wands is very demonstrative. It's not always about talking. It's about showing. So what you're going to do is show that you know what's right versus what's wrong. And you're going to lead by example, especially when other people can't or won't. And oftentimes when we're in a workplace where leadership is lacking, or a family where leadership is lacking, or there's a lot of competition, which can be indicated by this, you're just going to be strong. You have to be strong, because who else is going to do it if not you, right? I think that's going to be important. What we have at the center, however, are two great cards. Again, you can manage the money, you can speak up for yourself, and you can navigate your way around this snake pit. And really for me, it's just a challenge. It's just a potential place where you could trip. We don't want that to happen. It's already in the past. So I feel like the lesson's pretty much learned, but we're in a retrograde soon, not yet, but for many of you watching in May, it's going to be right around the 10th or so, second or third week, it's going to be in full effect. So during that period of time, especially, you're going to be wanting to pay attention to any cyclical energy. So something that you thought you might have resolved, it pops its head back again and it says, have you really learned this? Have you really gotten everything that you needed to from that? And of course you have, and this is just a sort of test to make sure that you're on the right path, okay? Which is why we're talking today. So this is where I'm really wanting to focus, because this is the recent past. If you're watching it live, you're going through this right now. If you're watching it in May, then this still is coming through a little bit as an opportunity for you. We have the Two of Pentacles, and I like these two hares or jackrabbits here because we see them sparring or playfully sort of like going back and forth, but nothing's really happening with this exchange. I don't feel like sometimes when you argue or negotiate or talk, it's crossfire, or it's basically nobody's making progress. So it just is a lot of talk. And I think for you to make progress, you have to really stake a claim and decide, like, this is what I want. And that's going to help you take an ace from this Two of Pentacles. You can, if you really want to, you can kind of split your time, but you're not going to be as effective. And that's what the Two of Pentacles usually indicates. So the challenge here, as I was seeing it when I first laid the spread down, is two options that are equally appealing or equally as challenging as the card said. So sometimes we're at a fork in the road, and this path seems a little challenging, and this path seems a little challenging. You take your pros and cons, and it's sort of a wash. Same thing if you have two great opportunities. It's like, what do I do? The only thing that can hold you back is indecision. So you have to go inward and feel it out a little bit. So when it's evenly matched, close your eyes and think, at the end of the day, one of these is calling a little bit more, even if it's a strange reason, even if you're going just to symbols or to your gut. That's not strange. That's you getting led in the right direction. So take a path. You can always course correct. You can always go back. And that's going to be the most important thing here, is to be decisive. If you are in an argument or an exchange where nothing gets accomplished, step back a little bit and really figure it out again. What is it that you want? I feel like that's the big question and the big opportunity this month, is to figure out who are you? What is it you're looking for? So that other people can see and hear that as well. When we're indecisive, the universe shows up and it tests us. So I really want you to be able to avoid those tests if possible. Okay? We have the Strength card here in the crowning position. This particular deck swapped, Strength and Justice. Okay, and it's a really unique Divine Masculine take on this card, which I like. So typically we would see the Divine Feminine figure here, a woman, and we would see her opening the mouth of some sort of an animal. On this one, ostensibly we see what looks like is a female cat here, and we see the man instead embodying that divine feminine energy. Or it could be, again, it's kind of like a mix and a match, which I like. Good strength cards have either a mix of the two, like in the Light Seer deck, we see half woman, half lion, so like a lioness. And in this one, we see that there is no, like you can just become the divine masculine. You don't have to try to make it come to you. So the embodiment of active energy is what we get with this. So take the initiative. Take that first step, which came through when we were looking at the Fool card. And hopefully we're getting away from the polarization of only this type of person can do this or this type of person can do that. So letting go of titles, letting go of gender, letting go of biases, all of that is just trappings. And it's interesting because one of the things that I do is, like, when I'm not doing this, I can connect with those who have passed, and I've been doing that with a relative that recently passed. And it's curious to see. I'm almost more clear on the fact that they've passed than that they've passed. So when they come through, they want to help out with things, and I have to remind them, now you have to do it in spirit. And this is my mother that I'm talking about. I had a similar thing happen with my father. I've had connections with aunts and uncles that have passed too, where they're a lot more just kind of like helpful and curious. So when we leave this, we're amazed by how big the world is, and also that we don't have this anymore, this body. It's not ours forever. It's only here for, if you're lucky, maybe 100 years or so, but you're not going to have this body forever. Do something cool in this moment in time. Punctuate it. Make something. Here's another thing is I can guarantee if you look in the mirror today and you look in the mirror in like 10 or 15 years, today, step in the mirror and say to the reflection, thank you. Thank you, God and universe, for this body. And I appreciate it today, even if it's not quote unquote perfect. When I'm 20, 30 years older, I'll look back and say, that was a pretty good body. That was a pretty good moment. So love yourself in this moment. See yourself as strong, deserving, and capable. And don't feel that you are hindered or blocked by some sort of an insecurity within. This card is coming through to say you are strong, okay? So that's all the validation you need, is that you have the power and you have the connection to the divine masculine, which will help you this month because there was a choice in this card to kind of highlight that. So action, strength, assertiveness is coming through in a big way for you, okay? All right, let's move to the next card. We have balance here, or justice, and it's reversed. Balance in this deck is temperance. So the temperance card is reversed, and everything with temperance is about sometimes like being impatient, sometimes taking that first step. So what I want you to do this month, first of all, is to find the balance. So this card is about work-life balance. This one is about saying, I'm not afraid to shift the scales in my favor. Again, it's a little confusing because it's not justice, it is temperance in this deck. I was double checking just to make sure, and it is. So temperance comes through when we're not either one thing or another. We're kind of like halfway through the doorway, right? 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So if you're just starting something new, it's about letting the old mask go and just sort of like say, I'm gonna embrace today. I'm gonna fake it till I make it. And then really let's elevate that phrase and just say, I'm going to embrace this. I'm going to embody this. That's a better way to do it. And it will eventually become part of me. And when we're letting go of something, we can, every day is a little easier. So you just move that foot a little bit closer to the door, a little bit closer, a little bit closer. There's no expiration date on grief. There's no kind of like moment where you have to let something go. What happens is, the more you keep moving the other foot, the other one's going to have to just follow by momentum. So just keep moving toward a goal. The release will happen when you're ready, when it's time, and it's happening already. Patience is a piece of temperance as well. You're being guided. It's a big angel in the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Let's take a look at that one just for a moment, and then I'll take a look at this one. And we can kind of blend the two together because there's important messages for both. But with the angelic piece, it's saying, here we are, it was pretty easy. You're just being guided here. And the most important thing is to be patient and to be present, all right? I always get sort of a springtime energy associated with this as well. So whether you're in the Northern Hemisphere and you're going through that, or maybe for some of you, this is marking something that's coming through a couple seasons from now. That's what I kind of get as a springtime energy associated with this big shift of movement. Now, we also see almost the symbol that you would look at on a, like the medical symbol, the caduceus. It also looks to me like this sort of unraveling of two energies, uncoiling of two energies, especially with the card in reversed. So I would say for some of you, when you uncouple, when you release, when you let go of an old partnership, ostensibly to start a new one, it takes some time to find yourself. So you're still there. We see this sort of face at the bottom here. You've always been there. But sometimes when you're a caretaker, when you're a partner, when you're a child, and you're graduating into the world, or you're a parent and you're losing your child because they're graduating, there's this sort of entanglement that seems like it wants to unravel a little bit this month. You're not losing that former self. You're not losing that person. You're regaining a sort of sense of self and clarity. So that's what this month is about for you, is reclaiming who you are without losing who that person was or who that thing was, if it was a sort of job, etc. You're just finding yourself again, okay? So give yourself a chance this month to find yourself, because once you find yourself, the traditional temperance card that we saw here, you're going to be able to put that second step in the water and then dive in, okay? All right. Let's be patient with yourself and be patient with others. That's the other message here, because nothing happens overnight. Change takes time. So one step at a time. One baby step at a time, pulling the baby's breath in earlier. So again, with temperance, we see 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And that's really what you're going to be kind of moving with this month. Okay, let's see how you're showing up. We have a reverse card here. It's the Knight of Pentacles. Yay for another Pentacles card. So much grounding earth energy for you, because we also have the Page of Pentacles here. So with this in reverse, what your soul is saying is, I need to take, this month maybe 2 steps forward and 1 step back, which still means I'm taking a step forward, but I might be frustrated because that took longer, or I was rejected here. But if I'm present, if I review and look at the progress, I'm still making progress. There are just a couple little wrinkles, crinkles, blocks, challenges along the way. We saw one of them here. Might even come in the first couple days of the month or first couple weeks. But by the time you get through that, you are going to start to see progress. One thing with this is you might have to backtrack a little bit. The horse is going in reverse and it's saying, wait, did I get everything? Did I forget something? Do I need to look at the map and renegotiate, or not recalibrate my directions, kind of like GPS? Whatever it is, you're going to be fine. It's still a night. It's still moving. It's just saying, make sure that you are doing this, again, with direction, with intention. And if you want to invest in yourself, by all means do it. Anytime I get any of the court cards in Pentacles in reverse, it's about education, self-care, doing something to invest in your future. Particularly things like training in school. So that was something I highlighted in the channel messages. So you have encouragement from the cards to do that, even if it takes you off the path a little bit. So it makes a lot of sense to have a Knight reverse, because, for instance, if you're going to go to school, you're committing. Maybe it's 6 months, 2 years, 4 years, 8 years, depends on how much training you're getting. If you're going to have a baby or something like that, same thing would happen. You're going to take some time off. You're going to have a child. You're going to nurture that child, and then you can get back on the path. We have to make time for certain things to transpire. And that's really what the universe is saying. You want this, it requires this. Do you still want this? And that, for some of you, is what you're kind of vacillating between. Is it worth the trade-off of time? Only you can answer that, but it does look pretty promising based on the cards that I'm seeing here, okay? All right, moving on to what's going on here in your environment. We have the Queen of Wands, and she's reversed. Sorry, I'll move the mic so you can see it. So we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. Someone's not listening to you. This is a hare. Let me pull the card up so you can see it. So Queen of Wands, ears as big as the sky here, but when it's reversed, she's not listening, or he's not listening. So what can happen with Queen of Wands? Probably my favorite Queen card, as you know, but it is not as effective when it's reversed, because what happens, and this could be someone that you are looking up to or that you need to go through for a decision. It's a gatekeeper, okay? The Queen of Wands in the environment. So mom, boss, coworker, manager, somebody who makes a decision. They may have one way of doing things, and it's like, for them, it's their way or the highway. They may hear but not listen. So they heard a request, but they didn't listen to the context, and they are already jumping to a conclusion before they get the sort of second piece of the conversation. They're just shut down to feedback. They don't like to get criticism. Something's off about their communication style. So for you, you may have to navigate around them. You may have to pick a better time, and you may have to pick a different way to communicate with them. If they're not listening, show them. Pick a different, demonstrate it. Because Wands it learns on different levels. So it likes to see things. Maybe put the facts on paper. Maybe show them another example. Maybe get a different person to come in because they're just not listening to you. So you're going to have to use different forms of communication to get the job done this month. You can still get it done. The cool thing with this is there's a completely different way to read this, which is you may think you're blocked. You're not blocked. You've got a magical contact here. They're just not tuned into the fact that you need them. So you need to get their attention. But there could be someone who's just around you, knows you, but they're a perfect resource. They're a perfect advocate. You still have to kind of turn their head or get their attention. But once they've got their eyes on you and you've engaged them in this is the magical card. Like, the Queen of Wands can make anything happen. If I'm stuck, this is like the locksmith of the Queen cards, because she knows people who know people who know people that can make something happen. Or she has this skill that she never lets you know about that can help you through this. She has some resources. Maybe there's some money. Maybe there's some, whatever. There's always a surprise with the Queen of Wands where it's like, oh, yeah, I know how we can fix this. And you think, how did I not know that this person knew? So you think you're blocked, you're not. Look around. There's somebody that you know that has a hidden skill. They don't advertise it. That's why the card's reversed. They may not be aware that you need them. So you might have to shop this around a little bit and tell people what you're going through and say, hey, do you have any ideas on this? And that's going to open the door. All right. So there's a very exciting piece with this too, because it's in the environment. It's not necessarily a block. It's just something around you. Okay. Page of Pentacles, here in your opportunities. We have the Lynx, which is a very cool cat. Can move pretty quickly. Lots of ears coming through this month, and the Lynx have those little hairs that come out as well. So a very perceptive energy for you. And I think one of the things that I want to remind you as I'm looking at this is you can land on your feet. So no matter what the challenge you might be experiencing, the Page of Pentacles is coming through to say, I'm going to not necessarily ingest this and think the best or the worst. I'm just going to be flexible. I'm going to be nimble, because to me, that's what the Lynx represents. So if you're thrown some sort of an opportunity or a curveball, what you're going to think is, this is interesting. Let's think this through. I didn't expect it, but yeah, I'm open to it. Stay open, be nimble, think on your feet rather. And I think that you could surprise yourself in how well you could deal with something. A page is a message. An ace can be sort of an option on the table, but the page can hear things and can see things. So you may also tune into something cosmically that's opening up for you. So you may have never thought that this and this could work together, but all of a sudden you get this epiphany and you think, oh, I need to talk to this person. Yes, you do. This is a communication card. You can open up that door. You don't need to go through someone else. They want to hear your words. If you do need to work with any sort of administrative assistant, etc., this card is showing that you'll be able to navigate that as well. But it's your voice and it's your words that are going to be most powerful and most influential this month. Okay? I like that. And again, so many great cards with respect to money. Let's just review those real quick. Again, with the Queen of Pentacles at the center, a choice that you have to make here with the Two of Pentacles, an investment in yourself here with the Knight of Pentacles, and now something here that you're going to have a chance to really kind of take and run with. So you have to make some choices this month, but you've got good money cards, you've got good resource cards, okay? Just the sort of balancing act is all that's coming through. Could be just work-life balance. You need some time to yourself. Moving on to the outcome card for the Celtic Cross. We have the moon and the water in this particular deck. That's actually the moon. I just like to check because there's a mirror card that's not the moon. But yeah, the moon and the water. What's kind of cool here is some of you may have a Taurus placement. We see the bull in the background there. You may even have a Taurus moon as well, which could be affecting you. But with the moon and the water, the main thing here is reflection. I think I've been sort of beating a drum this month saying the importance of reflecting on this moment, the moments that preceded it, and the moments that are going to follow. Where am I? Where am I going? Etc. Also, the moon always comes through to say, are you afraid of something? Are you anxious about something? Is there something you've been putting off? If so, now is the time to really focus on integrating, releasing that so that as new opportunities keep coming through, and they are, as we saw with this Page of Pentacles, that fear, anxiety, or what's the other thing that I was going to say here? Procrastination doesn't get in the way, okay? This, to me, is also a great card. A lot of times we focus on all that other stuff, but it's divine feminine, it's intuition, it's instinct. Follow your instincts. Follow what you're getting in your dreams and meditations. It's subtle energy rather than hitting across the head obvious. The subtle messages that come through are no less powerful or important than the obvious ones. Intuition, there's no right or wrong way to access it. So whether you're clairaudient, clairvoyant, or it's a subtle thing that comes through as you're just reflective, it's all the same. It's equally as powerful. We don't compare the different clairs or how it works. Just tap into it this month because it's here to help you get in the right path, okay? We're going to expand the forecast now and go a little deeper into health, wealth, love, and destiny. So in this portion, each one of them is multifaceted and multi-part. So I'll do my best to try to break it down for you. All right, we're going to start with your health card. Quick disclaimer as I look at health. I'm really here to help you with the metaphysical piece. There are physical components that often are sort of like enhanced or exacerbated by how we feel spiritually. And when that happens, you work with a professional. I'm here to kind of show you where the channels may lead, okay? So if you need help, talk to a doctor. But for spiritual guidance, that's why I'm here today. And what we've got in your health is healing energy. So there we go. We're really focusing more on the metaphysical. So give yourself permission if you need it. You don't need it from me. The cards are showing it. But healing energy is saying, maybe I need to make time to get a massage. Maybe I need time to get some more sleep. I'm going to prioritize meditation. I'm going to take care of myself. That's really what the healing energy card is about. Some of you may also be opening up to your own capacity to heal. Fun fact, when I do some of the channel messages in the morning when I read, my hands start to activate. So like right now, it's kind of like I have pins and needles or numb hands because the energy is coming through. This didn't happen initially, but like maybe 6, 7, 8 years into reading cards, I can actually feel the energy. So I could do healing if I wanted to, but right now there's a lot of energy coming through me and I'm also picking up on that energy. So you may get an awakening. Could be third eye awakening, could be a kundalini awakening coming from the base of the spine. You could get the healing hands, which I'm getting right now. There could be something in the throat. Wherever it is, this is a sign from the universe that an activation is happening. Meditate on that. See what it might be showing you. The more you meditate, the more you can kind of pull it through your body, right? If you're ignoring your ability to heal, it's going to come through. When I first got the healing hands sort of like awakening a couple years ago, it happened pre-COVID, but I woke up one night in dreams and I had this, I could just see it was almost like magician type energy kind of coming through my body. But the way that my hands were, I was kind of like, I don't know, half asleep holding it, but it ended up like shocking my face, my third eye, which was probably what spirit wanted me to do, but I felt the, and then I also one time kind of saw like this spark or arc of energy go between the hands. I was like, all right, I get it. That's part of the reason that especially if you follow me on Instagram, you should, by the way, because I put a lot of pictures of flowers and things, but it's not necessarily a green thumb, but it's the healing energy. So when I go out there and water or touch the plants, the energy goes through them and they grow. So I have an easy time when it comes to flowers, and it's partly because of that. The green thumb for many of us is actually the heart chakra opening up. And if you're a healer, you often have green interspersed as a main color in your auric field. So and that's why we kind of see it with this angel here, this angelic energy, a lot of green. So for many of you, the heart space wants to be healed, and many of you might be feeling an activation. I can see it in your hands as well. All right, cool stuff. Prioritize your healing in general. Let's look at the cards and see if there's some specific places that healing can take place. All right. So don't underestimate the importance of a comfortable home. The Queen of Pentacles is quintessential card for your home. Second only to the Ten of Pentacles, because we actually see the house on that one. But this is the mama bear. This is the home card. This is the mother energy. So make sure that your home is a nurturing space, that you look around you and you think, this feels good to me. Because that's going to either enhance or push down your general healthy, happy energy. The Strength card is a prioritization card. It's in your head space, but it's saying the stronger my body, the stronger my mind can be. The more I can be a spiritual channel, the more I can be an energetic channel if you decide to do something like Reiki, which is what this card really feels like when I'm looking at it. So you have to have a strong body. So yoga, strength training, working out, whatever you and your body and your doctor thinks is possible. This card is saying go for it because it's going to allow you to have a stronger mind and a healthier flow of energy, more vitality. Your prayer as you're doing this, your intention, your mindfulness is also, of course, going to play an important role. This card, invariably, when I'm looking at health, is about work-life balance. If you're working too much or too little and you're bored, you've got to find that happy balance between having a busy mind and then being so exhausted that you can't do what you need to do. Patience as you move through new things, as we look at temperance, also really important. Interesting that this card highlights the word balance. So for some of you, these are two balance cards, even though temperance was rarely one. You still get the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. So just watch your footing. A lot of times when I see this, it doesn't have to indicate like inner ear issues or vertigo, although if you're going through that, obviously speak to a doctor. It can just be, I'm not paying attention. I don't feel balanced in my life, so prioritize that, of course. The rest of the cards look pretty good. The Moon card can indicate issues with fertility or sometimes even with the urinary tract. So just kind of focus on making sure that if you haven't checked that out, that's something that you look at. Drink a lot of water. As you're moving through change in your life, whenever there's transformative events going on, there are certain ways that we can get rid of energy. It's exercise, like breathing, sweating. So like that perspiration and that exhalation. And then also if we drink water and then go to the restroom, that's another way to pass things through our body as well. So hydration is important because it helps with the evaporation, with the hydration, and with and then sort of getting rid of things as well. So make sure you're getting enough water. Being by the water can also be very nurturing and helpful. So if you want to meditate, river, lake, creek, pool, all of those areas are good. Or even having like a little Zen fountain and listening to the sound of water. All right, let's move on to the next piece here. We're going to look at wealth. What a cool card to come through for that. We have the Firefly. All right, so the Firefly is in reverse, but let's pull it up right here. What it's saying here is, you're the source. And fireflies, by the way, they light up so that they can find partners. It's basically a little mating ritual. Also called lightning bugs, depending on what part of the world you're in. This is something that I didn't see until I was maybe 9. Yeah. I lived in the West and then I moved to the East, then I came back to the West. But for first part of my childhood, I never heard or seen this sort of insect. And then my family moved me to the East Coast and it was amazing. I remember driving across country with them and I think I didn't see it until we hit Indiana. And then ultimately we were like on the East Coast, but I think it was in Indiana that I first saw it. And I was like, oh my God, what are these little stars kind of lighting up in the sky? And I remember like putting it in my palm and seeing like how magical it was and everything. So to me, there is that sort of discovery energy with this. Sometimes we see something that we didn't anticipate or believe existed. So when it comes to your career or your money or your life purpose, just like I went through almost a decade and then I never saw something like this, you have a chance to discover something new. Lightning because that's the other word for this, or fire, is important because you're the source. Don't look to others for the light or the source. You're the source. When we look at a card in reverse, it's about going within. So this firefly or lightning bug is saying the lightning, the fire, the source, it's within. Many of us spend a majority of our time on this planet looking for the fire in others, right? There's an album by Tori Amos called Boys for Pele, and she was writing about how she was trying to find all of the sort of fire and passion in men. Like she was looking at other relationships and she had to find it within. So she picked like this deity Pele to represent like I have the power. I don't need to find it in relationships. It's one of the reasons that when I read, I like to focus on what you're bringing to the equation. We'll look at love and we'll see what's coming through, but your fire, your passion, your light is what's either drawing in or pushing away others. And in work in particular, this is what the message is. How are you shining? How brightly are you shining? Are you putting that little beacon out and saying, I'm ready? Let's take a look at the cards and see what the messages are. Okay. First of all, you should be ready because we have the Queen of Pentacles here. It's a good time to step into something new. You're set up and poised for success. We have 3 power cards, 3 of the court cards. All that's missing is the King of Pentacles. We have the Queen, we have the Knight, we have the Page. This is like self and what's going on right now. This is how you're feeling and also how others might be looking at you. And this is what's on the horizon for you. So worth, investment, and more worth and opportunity. It's a good month for you. Even if you felt like you had hit a wall, this is the chance to sort of like either see a beacon of hope or be the beacon of hope. So I see financial movement and shifting happening for you, but you have to make the choice. 2 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords, very similar choices to make, not always a very clear choice, but you're strong enough to do it. One step at a time, a little bit of investment in self. It looks good to me. All right. If you are stuck, remember that there might be a better way, a better person, or another way that you can communicate to someone in your life. But overall, what we don't see in this spread, and that's good. I don't see the Tower. I don't see the Devil. I don't see the 10 of Swords. I'm not seeing big blocks. I'm just seeing opportunities to see things different or differently. And the Firefly is about this sort of like blinking light that's saying, pay attention, look over here. So pay attention. And remember that you're that light in the dark too, or you're the one that can attract things to you. So be the source, be the light. Your 2 important cards when we're looking at outcomes would be near future and outcome. So Temperance reverse takes time for change to happen. And then the Moon card, there could be some competition for what you're trying to do. The traditional Moon card would show, a coyote or a wolf and a dog, and then this path in between. The reminder on this one is sometimes that competition is a distraction. And what you want to keep doing is going down the path rather than trying to compete and get someone's attention. We're moving past that. And if there's too much competition, I'm trying to find the card while we're talking. There's too much competition and there's not enough attention on what you're trying to do, then all that really happens then is sort of like you're spinning your wheels in the mud, right? And it's not the best investment. So here's the card. And then we again see like the wolf and the dog, and they're being distracted. But meanwhile, there's this path. This is where one of them has to go. And we're either going to listen to what we're told or what we feel like. On the weekend, I got the animal card that popped up. So I feel like many of us are being asked to trust instinct. So trust your instinct right now. Very rarely does instinct lead you down the wrong path. Let's move on to the big idea. The big idea, actually one more, I'm sorry. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go to the next thing. We're not done with the expanded forecast. So expanded forecast also includes love and destiny. I was like, we're done. On to the next thing. Let's look at love and relationships. What a fascinating card to come through for this. So in love and relationships, we have the Death Mother here. And I kind of like the anthropomorphic version of death as divine feminine. There really is no gender to death, by the way, but it's a more nurturing energy to kind of see it as that. I was talking about how the divine feminine is missing so much in not all, but many religions and many sort of spiritual practices. To me, not only is it an essential piece, but if we were going to choose a gender, it would have to be divine feminine, because that's what creates. You can't, as far as I'm, like with exception to like even if we're thinking of like a seahorse, it still needs the eggs. It might carry the eggs, but there are instances in nature where there's asexual reproduction. But like generally speaking, divine feminine would be what would be the logical choice if we were going to define a deity with some sort of a gender. I think God is it. I think it's all encompassing. But what I like about looking at death as a sort of nurturing force with divine feminine is it's saying, I'm here to take care of you. I think we get the same sort of angelic help coming into this world as we do leaving the world. So some of you may be working with energy around your mother or your father, the sort of maternal paternal energy here. It doesn't mean that they're passing. It just could mean that the energy is transforming. So I mentioned like the empty nest syndrome. Some of you may have children and they're going to college, or some of you might be someone who's moving out of home for the first time and you're kind of feeling that disconnection right around the solar plexus. It's going to be okay. You might also be feeling like I am for the first time in your life, that you're sort of independent of family. So, what are you when there's no living family left? They're still here. They're still connected to you. You're still part of that legacy. So whether you're dealing with the loss or the transition or the transformation, that's a big piece of what this is. And it's about taking care of yourself. You're going to be okay as you move through this change. One thing that's really interesting with me in my own experience with death and loss and movement, I'm often shown a glimpse of change, of transformation before it happens. And I've met angels of transformation. They're very lovely angels. It's not the sort of scary figure that we see in science fiction and movies. It can be ominous. You know who it is when you see it, but it's never been something to me that came through harsh. I've seen Azrael and I've seen Zerachiel, and both times they're there in a kind of loving and informative way. Azrael typically never speaks to me. It just shows up and it shows me what's leaving my life, person, place, or thing. Zerachiel can speak a little bit more, but Azrael is more, I'm here and this is what you're going to release. So it's supportive, it's informative, and there's a change that has to happen in our love relationships this month. So the Death Mother energy is coming through to say, I'm going to help you change. And now we're going to look at how the relationships are going to change. It's not, death is transformation. So what we're going to look at it is not in fatalistic terms, but in how are relationships changing this month. I'm going to break it down for you in existing relationships. Those of you that are trying to change to find love or trying to see what love may come through and how it may change you. And then we're going to look at those of you that are single and happy, but open to whatever opportunities might be coming through as well. All right, let's take a look. All right, so here we go. As we look at what's coming through in existing relationships, I talked about this at the beginning. Many of you are poised to have a great partnership, maybe for the first time in a long time. So if you've freshly gotten into a new relationship, you're dating someone, you're married, or you've been together for a while, but you're kind of sinking into the fact that like, this is my person. Well, I feel like it's a nice match here. But again, there are some differences in the way that you'll communicate and the way that you'll live. Practical, communicative. A little bit more wanting to ground in purpose, someone that's a little bit more, has more wanderlust and exploration. So you're going to complement. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of competition when it comes to like, how is this going to be done? Be patient, be strong. A little bit of give and take is the key to success. If you truly love someone, you should be able to talk about hopes and fears. And that's the big opportunity this month, is to say, I'm really excited about this, or I'm really scared about this, but I love you and I think we can work our way through this. What do you want to do? How can we travel together on this path? And that's it. Are you both invested? If you are, it's going to be okay. I do get some in-law energy coming through here because there are so many court cards. When we have this many court cards, a king, a knight, a queen, a page, a couple of queens. Some of you come from either a big extended family, or there's just a lot of people around you as you're navigating this new relationship. Focus on the two of you. That's where this sort of dance of creation is happening, and this is where the energy is at. Don't get confused. Don't get sort of like distracted by this bigger group. So the change this month could be focusing less on optics and more on cooperation, more on working through the hopes and fears together. And that's where I think you might be. If you're letting go of someone, well, the good news for you this month is there's a focus on personal development and career and success. So if you are letting go, because I'll look at the possibility of that, then the detangling of the energy takes time. But what you can focus on is listening to yourself, listening to others, focusing on personal development, and also just kind of like looking at these surprising opportunities that are opening up for you, okay? For those of you that are looking for love this month, you can find it, but you're very much, at the beginning of the month anyway, maybe not spending your time as wisely as you could. So there's this chance to just be smarter about investment of time and energy. Focus on being strong, being healthy, and getting out of this sort of like competitive environment that might be around you at present. You are going to have a lot of work, financial, and developmental energy that could be pulling you apart from your partner. So the biggest challenge this month is making time. So work-life balance really hits those in love or seeking love because you got so much competing for your time and energy. If you're looking for love this month, there's no lack of options, by the way. So many options actually for you. I think what's lacking is discernment. So setting the intention and saying, this is what I seek, this is what I'm trying to manifest, that'll kind of make it more powerful, more effective, and make it less confusing for you. If you're single and happy this month, I actually think it's a great time to be single and happy. However, you may not see yourself as attractive and alluring as you are, but it is coming through. People are changing the way they see you, and it looks like there's a lot more people that want to sort of like tap into your energy, your time, your resources. You're also kind of nice to be around. You got to look at this from an external perspective. The healing energy tells me that you're a good listener, you're a good advisor, you make good decisions, and this puts you in a really good position to excel when it comes to leadership this month, okay? Let's move on to your destiny card, and then we'll go into the big idea. So your destiny card. So some of you may be looking at a contract. Someone could write you and say, hey, I thought of you for this. They could be texting you. This could be a Dear Jane or Dear John letter as well, because we got the Death Mother card in relationships. What you get to do is decide, how do I feel about this? If it's a new opportunity, is it good enough for me? For those of you that may have lost someone, journal, write down your thoughts. What I do right now is, again, having just gone through someone that's transitioned to spirit, I'll just have a conversation as I'm getting ready because they can hear it. You can do it in here, you can use your voice. And so if there's something I need to say, I don't need to write it down. I'll just say it. Just get it out there in the universe and I know that it's been delivered. And then what happens is it's like the old-fashioned way of communicating where you send a message out, they'll get it instantaneously. You may get it later when you meditate or in your dreams, and that's what happens with me. So I get like delayed reaction, and then I'll pick up on what they want to tell me. But I say it, and the same thing works when you're manifesting. So a lot of times I'll talk to the universe because it's our friend. It's there to help us out, and I'll say, hey, I'm ready for this. What do I need to focus on? Are there blocks? Are there opportunities? Show me in an obvious way, in a symbolic way that I will understand. Show me what I need to work on or pay attention to. And then, synchronicities will light up as I'm taking my dog for a walk, or that night when I go to sleep, I have the most amazing dream that answers my question. So you can either write the letter or just speak it out loud and tell the universe what you need. You may also find that it's more effective to write your thoughts down or practice what you need to say before you say it. So there's a reason that I show up to the reading with all of those slides prepared. I used to write them out by hand, but not only was that arduous, but it was a waste of paper. So this is so much easier because I can just kind of flow into it. But I like to have some of my thoughts arranged because then it helps me understand where the reading is going to take me. So all good public communicators will have bullet points. Even when we're talking, what are these but visual bullets? Kind of gives us a way to weave a story and talk about something. So get your thoughts put out on paper, and that's going to help you out. And now we'll move into the big idea. The big idea is one card that can kind of, it's like a so what? What's all of this about? Thank you for all of this, Nicholas, but now what? So if you have ADHD or you're not sure what to focus on, here's your answer. Here's your big idea. So we have the Six of Pentacles. So many great resource cards coming through for you this month. The card was reversed, but it's a really powerful symbol. This particular Six of Pentacles, you're looking at others. It's missing a piece, which would normally be the person holding the scale. All we see here are people asking for help. And then we see, they almost look like beehives in the background, but they're ropes, it looks like. Let me show you the traditional Six of Pentacles and we'll talk about it. Fun facts first. When I'm looking at someone's finances, the most important card to me is finding something, at minimum, the Six of Pentacles, because to me, it's the symbol and the signal that even if you don't have everything that you want, you definitely have everything you need. Discernment and sort of like boundaries are the most important thing with the Six of Pentacles. So when I pull up this traditional card, what you're going to see is that a lot of times you are, here it is, you're the one that's facing the decision. So we'll look at both of these because I want you to see it from two perspectives. So the illustrator in this deck is showing the people in this card that are asking you. What's missing is scales and limited resources and time. Some of those pentacles you'll decide to invest in yourself. Some you'll invest in others. And when you invest in others, you have to think, what are they going to do with it? Is it a wise investment of time, energy, money, love, etc.? So you and you alone can kind of assess the return on your investment, but that's really what this card begs of you, is that. And we see here exploitation. Card is reversed, so you're nobody's fool. That's not going to happen. I always see the Six of Pentacles as a powerful card to change the tide and say, I can avoid the Seven of Pentacles, which sometimes can be overextension and or debt. I can jump to the Eight of Pentacles, which is more than enough and a return. And all I have to do is decide this, not this, now, not then. And by doing that and by being that decisive, you're going to shine. So to summarize, you have everything you need, maybe not everything you want. You can't do everything that other people want from you. You're going to have to make some choices. We already saw it with the Two of Pentacles. Some of the choices are going to be a lot easier than the rest may be. But then here's the thing. Two of Pentacles says if at the beginning of the month you make the choice, then you're already one step ahead. You're going to have more resources. You're already going to be recovering and growing. You'll be at the Seven of Pentacles, inching towards the Eight of Pentacles. So if you can just make a choice early on in the month, you're going to grow. You're still going to have people test and ask for more than they need to. You're going to be strong when they do that. And you're going to decide timing and scope. A little less of this, a little more of that, and then the timing might have to be adjusted. If you are flexible in those areas, anything is possible. Let's move on to the next piece, which is going to be blessings and blocks. Just like it sounds, something to embrace, maybe something to be cautious of. These cards, interestingly enough, are not always what they seem like. So they're subtle or they're in disguise. So let's take a look at them. The blessing is the mirror. And in this deck, the mirror is the Hanged Man. And the block is the Three of Wands. So interesting. Like I said, oftentimes these cards are a little bit unexpected. So the wait is almost over, but there's a little bit more to learn from this situation. This is a very unusual Hanged Man. It doesn't look like the traditional one that I would expect. But what we're seeing with this particular Hanged Man is this sort of ship that you would see when you're sending a body out for rest, like at a funeral. So the release of something. And then we also see the inner reflection that you would normally get with the Moon card, which we already got. And it's just sort of asking you, before you move forward, Have you truly released? And have you truly reflected upon all the lessons that were afforded to you by this moment in time and by maybe the last few years of your life? Because until you have the lesson learned, you shouldn't let go of it. You should sort of like think, wait, I need to really be present and ready to move on to the next thing. So be patient with yourself, take an extra half step, and just think about this a little bit more. Don't rush. That's the main thing here. So the blessing is a pause. The frustration is that this is a blessing in disguise because it feels like punishment. It's like, I've done everything. Why do I have to wait another day, another week, another month? The universe is aligning something for you. It is trying to help you be at the right place at the right time to meet the right person. So you've got a little bit of a block, but it's a blessing in disguise because it feels like, why am I waiting? Because either you haven't released or learned the lesson, or because the universe has something better for you. So it feels like a block, but it's a blessing. And then the block, ironically, is when it happens fast. We have the Three of Wands, fulfillment. And basically, this is saying that not only are things happening behind the scenes, but when they happen, you'll feel like you have to catch up. So that's why I want you to take whatever break you have, take care of yourself, relax, because I see a busy end of the month coming through for you. And a surprise, you're not really blocked. What happens is disbelief. Is this really happening? How could this be happening? I thought this wasn't going to. So it's basically a test from the universe, and all you have to do is say, I trust in the timing. I trust in myself. I released that old lesson. Yes, I've learned what I needed to. I'm not surprised because I listened to the forecast that things are happening quicker than I thought. I'm not being punished. This isn't some sort of weird, chaotic thing. It was just the universe aligning a synchronicity. Synchronicities sometimes happen at seemingly inconvenient, but nevertheless very important and aligned times. So you're being aligned to an opening. Be flexible, be nimble, like the Page of Pentacles here, and you will be surprised at how well you can excel in this moment, okay? So a pause followed by a very quick and rapid fulfillment of a dream or manifestation. So there really is no block. There's just the illusion of a delay, and then there's the inconvenience of having to catch up. And that's why they appeared in the spaces that they appeared in, okay? Very good. Let's move on to viewer's choice and reader's choice. In this portion of the reading, we're going to have some fun and interact a little bit. So let me grab my keyboard here and let's take a look together at all the cards and vote on some things that you can look at, okay? All right. So creating the poll right now. Let's see what's going on here. Viewers choice. Okay, so let's look at some of the options. Let me look and see what I want to look at as a reader. I'm going to focus on finding your light, so that's my thing. So let's look at everything else for you. So, so many cards about resources. Let's potentially put one out there for resource management, because I feel like that's a really strong and appropriate topic. Like basically how to be ready for things. The next thing that I want to look at is patience. Because there were two, I'm just going to say how to be patient and present, because we had a couple cards around that. And then let's see, how to be nimble, how to react quickly to the changes. So how to be nimble, react quickly. I think all of these are going to be important. Any of those will work for you. Now I'm going to focus on how you can be the light, how you can find your light, how you can find that sense of, how would you say, sort of like vitality. So vitality and light, how can you find it? How can you be the source? We've got the Three of Swords in reverse. All right, so let's take a look at this while you're voting, and we'll go from there. Three of Swords in reverse. Sorry, let me pull up the card so you can see it. We have jealousy as the sort of title. This is also can be like loss or disappointment. With the card in reverse, it's saying everything up to and including a disappointment helps me. It provides context. Sometimes I need to see what I don't want in order to know what I want. So for me to find the light this month, for you Aquarius to find the light this month, something had to trigger you. And it could have been a person that said, you're not the right person for this job, or I think that we're not right for each other, or I know you want this, but it's sold out. Whatever it is, some sort of a disappointment. You wanted something, but the other person didn't want you, or the situation was no longer available. All part of the bigger alignment. And because now it's saying, go into your heart space. The Three of Swords always has a big heart on it, basically, with all the arrows through it. So what it's saying is, was this truly making you happy? Probably not. And the fact that it left your life or left you in this state is saying there's something better. So go into your heart space and say, where do I find a sense of inspiration? What lights me up? What gets me excited and passionate? It may not be what you do for a living. It may not be the relationship that you're in, but it might be something else that you're all together that's sort of like inspirational. Whatever it is, I want you to prioritize that and focus on that and think, I deserve to love, live, and be light-filled again and fulfilled again, and give yourself that encouragement and that space to rebuild. But it's all in the heart. And I've found invariably that oftentimes after the most difficult situation, the universe opens up something amazing. Peaks and valleys, right? So you may be in a valley, but there's a peak just around the corner. And it requires a little bit of work, climb every mountain, but it's going to be worth it, okay? All right, let's see what you voted on for me. How to be patient, how to be present. Pretty decent front runner there, 49% of the vote. So let's take a look at how to be patient, how to be present. Thank you for selecting that one. All right, so let's go ahead now and take a look and see what the universe has to say on this one. You are not alone, my friends. We've got the Lovers card here. So it's in reverse, but it's a positive card nonetheless. The Lovers and the Four of Wands, infinitely positive energy here with this. So how to be patient and present. Spend some time with the people that you love the most. Also spend time with people that love and support you. The Lovers in reverse can be sometimes this sense of trying to please everyone else, or there could even be some unrequited energy. This is a reset for you to basically understand that you don't have to change in order to receive love. You don't have to be someone different. In fact, you should be focusing on aligning with like the star or the soul energy, saying, no, this is who I am. And by doing that, that's how I'm going to pull in that love, that appreciation with the Forest Lovers or the Lovers. So let's look at the two elements separately. How can I be more present? I don't need to fixate so much on others. Sometimes others may see things that I don't see, and I can take that into consideration. But with this card, we see that sort of being bound to someone, and there's so much energy this month about unraveling. So with this card in reverse, and with the Forest Lovers in reverse, and also with the Three of Swords, these are cards of separation, right? Even the Death Mother card is a card of separation. You're not alone. Being separate, being single, being separated, it doesn't mean that you're alone. It means that in this moment in time, you're in a stage of discovery. You're discovering what your power is, what your special sauce is. And so I really want you to just sort of like revel in the space and create some space if you haven't already done so for yourself. Love yourself as much as others do. Love yourself so that others will love you. This weekend when I was looking at the different sort of elements, earth, air, water, fire, etc. It was all love cards, but one of them was the Five of Pentacles, because I got like the Lovers, the Six of Cups, and the Two of Cups. But I said, you know what? Five of Pentacles is actually love too. It's self-love. So I think the most important thing that could come through to answer your dual question, patience and presence, is self-love and self-confidence. Because if you love yourself enough, other people will come through and love you, and they're also going to support you more, so you're going to get what you need. And then if you just sort of like heal yourself in this moment, that's also going to help you. This is a good expenditure of your time and energy. And I think you're being asked to be patient with yourself so that you can grow in that area. So a continuation of both the weekend and also the fact that we're getting another love card. To get the Lovers, you need that Five of Pentacles energy. You need that self-love. Okay? All right, let's take a look now at where we've come and what's next. I believe we're into the new special portion, which is going to be sun, rising, and moon. I will add that today. I haven't had a chance to do that. But yes, we got through all the cool stuff, and now something special. Sun, rising, moon. Something that I'm experimenting with this month. If you like this, please let me know in the comments on replay or even in the live chat that you enjoy it. So as I said back in the beginning when someone was asking, can we use this for sun, rising, moon? Yes, you may. You can also use it for Venus and all the other aspects of your chart that you may happen to know. But I'm going to break out sun, rising, and moon in particular because, like most readers, I would advise you to look at these pieces and we'll break down what the messages will mean. Let's pull the cards first and then I'll go aspect by aspect, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and pull these and see what's coming through. Something new, change is good, right? Interesting. I feel like we just got sun, rising, and moon all together, so that's fine. The card stuck, so it was easy peasy for me. All right, so let's break this down. Sun sign messages. So if you are Aquarius sun, you got my favorite card in the deck, Judgment, the Great Bear. I really do love this card, and it seems to pop up quite a bit. We have the Big Dipper in the background, named after the bear. So basically, what we're seeing here is a chance for you to transform into something new. Isn't this exactly what the baby's breath was about? It is. So, you know, the traditional Judgment card, let me just pull it up for you because it's important to see. It's about, like a phoenix rising from the ashes, a chance for you to imagine yourself as something new. So if you're stepping into something new, you may feel like, again, can I do this? Absolutely, you can do it. If you're stepping away from something old, you may think to yourself, how is life going to be without this? It's going to be different, but different is good. And it's just a change. It's just a shift or a movement for you. So I think if you can feel excited about that movement, if you can be sort of optimistic about that, you'll be surprised, here we go, at what's possible. So here's your Judgment card. We have Archangel Gabriel blowing its horn, and we see the bodies rising from the ashes, from the dead. And they're embracing it too. There's no sense of, I can't do it. Their hands and their arms are outstretched. Yes, let's bring this on. So this is a very unique card because the way it's sort of showing you this gateway is, I'm here, like the bear is there to sort of like warn you. This is a big change. You have to be ready for the change. And so it may look scary, but remember what came through at the center. It was just another bear. So you're actually already set up for this. This is protecting you. I actually see this as a protective bear saying, come on through. I've got your back. You're going to be okay. So instead of Archangel Gabriel, we have a bear protecting you and saying, look at what's on the other side. Look at the Aurora Borealis. It looks a little scary, but this is just movement or shifting into something different, into something better. Okay? So, yeah, I'm excited for you. You may feel like it's an end. I'm here to tell you it's a beginning. And you can still grow and you can still experience some really cool things. So step into the energy of alchemy, of transformation, and of change. You got it here with the death card too, even in the relationships, death, mother, death, same thing. And we're getting it here with this as well. So this is rising from that change or that from those ashes. So big change, big payoff. Judgment's an exciting card. Know yourself, trust yourself, and embrace and surrender to the energy of change. That's the sun message. Sun sign that you're born under, the default one that you would mostly look at here on any of the readings. So this is just sort of like a exclamation point or a punctuation for this big reading if you were born under Aquarius. All right, now let's look for the other two aspects that I'll be taking a look at. Let's move on to rising or ascendant. Rising and ascendant is how you show up in the universe, in the world. It's what you project, it's what others perceive, it's how you want to be seen. It's the mask or the clothes that we wear in the world, okay? It may not exactly be all of us, but it is the performance or the projection. So you're working really hard. People see you as very capable. They're going to test you this month. So in the areas of like work, school, and community, anywhere you're with other people, don't be afraid to push back. So the traditional Seven of Wands would have someone holding their wand to the side and kind of like pushing back on all the requests. You can do everything, but you don't have to do everything. You probably shouldn't do everything, because we had that card here that showed that that could be a form of exploitation, right? So what we really want to do is say, no, Six of Pentacles is in my head. I'm going to push back a little bit and say this, not this. So again, being picky, being pushy if you need to, being present, and remembering that whenever we get the Seven of Wands, you can't lose as long as you either delegate or ask or do something less. Like I would say delegate or reduce the scope a little bit, because if you delegate or bring someone else new in, you've got the Eight of Wands, more community, more abundance, things are rolling. The Wheel of Fortune starts moving in your favor as well. And if you take away some stuff that's just noise, you have success, Six of Wands. The Seven of Wands is a distracting place to be. You want to go up or down. So let go of something and do it better and have success, or bring more people in and get it done faster with the Eight of Wands. So you have a chance to work smarter and push back and advocate for something bigger. And in doing so, you'll either be more successful or more productive. Win-win, just by adding or removing something. So very easy message here for rising or ascendant. Looking at Moon. Moon is a complicated piece. It's the piece of ourselves that we kind of hold close and near and dear and don't always let people see. It can show up in relationships. It often is showing us hopes, fears, possibilities. So let's take a look and see what your Moon message is. You're going to avoid an unnecessary entanglement here. We have the Five of Swords. The Five of Swords is in reverse. This is one of my favorite Five of Swords, because we see this goat or ram or whatever, kind of just saying, you know what, that's your problem, that's your crossfire, I'm not going to get involved in this, I'm just going to get to the other side. What happens in the Five of Swords? Five of Swords, when we experience it with other people, they're not listening. They don't want to be proven wrong. They're not open to feedback. They're always right. It's really frustrating, right? If you try to have a conversation with someone who's that closed off, or who is that sort of like cotton in the ears. This month, when we were looking at everything, you have a chance to be able to get through to them in a different way, which we talked about. But it's still frustrating. You may have this moment, well, none of us are perfect, right? Let's be honest. You may have a momentary thing where you're like, I don't want to hear you, I'm right. This is encouragement to not sort of be so exclusionary in your approach in negotiation. Just say, I'll hear you out. You know, I have reservations, but I know how frustrating it is to want to get something out there. So let me listen to it. I'll legitimately listen to it, but I may have questions. I may have thoughts on it. So be more open than you may normally be. And if someone's closed down, you're talking to the wrong person, you're spinning your wheels, redirect. If someone tries to get you involved in gossip, hearsay, get out of that. So we're really trying to elevate communications and listening skills overall this month, and avoid conflict or connections with people that are kind of tricky and in that Five of Pentacles energy. I'm sorry, Five of Swords. Freudian slip, because we talked about Five of Pentacles. The fives are kind of like attractive cards. So interestingly enough, with the Freudian slip, the Five of Pentacles can attract the Five of Swords, because low self-esteem means someone knows that they can kind of like steamroll over you. So not accidental that I said it either. That's why we want to work on self-love. Okay, so let's look at all three together and then we'll wrap up. So just looking at Sun, Rising, and Moon in this sign, ends and beginnings seem like an unavoidable piece of the message this month. The Great Bear is encouraging you to come through, and it's protecting you on that path. Working smarter, really, really important as we go from Sun to Rising. So make sure that you're not being pushed around. Be the one that is a little pushier. But when it comes to communication, elevate it. And if you're in a place where people don't listen or don't want you to be right or express yourself, as we saw with the Moon sign, it's time to move on. Okay? So, my friends, that brings us to a really cool part of this reading where we're going to look at a meditation and a final card. The final card is the question you've been burning to ask me. Write it down, tap it in your phone, hold it in your head and your heart, and when we meditate here in just a moment, you'll have a chance to get that answer. Before we do any of that, a reminder, if you haven't already done so, to subscribe. If you happen to be watching live and you can chat, you're already a subscriber. If you can't, this is a good way to know, oh yeah, I haven't hit subscribe yet. Hit the thumbs up once. You can only do it once per video. And if you've never opted into notifications, it'll send you a push notification on your phone when I go live. So it's a nice way to keep in touch. You can also opt to follow me on social media as well. My name is @NicholasAshbaugh on all the major platforms that you see right here. The only one that differentiates or is a little bit different is Twitter because of character limits. It's an Ashbaugh. Remember, on social media, I'll never reach out to you directly. I don't offer things in chat. So anyone that's chatting or trying to get you to do something, that's not me. It's only if I do a live. My stories are official, but anything else is just someone that's impersonating me, and there's a ton of them out there, so be smart. If you want to show support here in real time, you can do it through Super Chat and SuperStickers, and you know how to do that. And then on my website, again, I think I posted a link to this earlier, but I'll do it again. So if you want to give a one-time donation, you can do it through my website. All right. Schedule is here. Just a reminder, I'm going to be back on Thursday for Pisces and special all-inclusive collective one that I'll be doing on Friday. Now, let's meditate together. This is 2 minutes. And this is basically a chance for us to just clear our minds, open up to something new. We're going to work through that energy of the Judgment card to allow you to sort of like rise again. And then I'll answer your question. So while I'm getting set up, you have a chance to vote on which instrument that I'm going to play. It can either be the crystal pyramid or the singing bowl. Either one is fine. Feel free to vote. Otherwise, just relax, and we're going to meditate here. Close your eyes, please. See yourself, just like we saw in this beautiful card, at this sort of doorway, at this portal. If you want to just imagine that you're in this very scene, you can do that. So see yourself beneath the northern lights, the aurora borealis, and we can see Canis Major or whatever in the background there. We can see the Big Dipper. We can see the bear there, kind of like protecting us and saying, "Hey, are you ready?" And you are ready, but I really want you to feel ready in your heart. As we're meditating, I feel an activation here in the solar plexus, right around the belly button. So what I want you to do is rub your hands together, put them on your stomach, and see this sort of light coming from your stomach, coming from the, just imagining that you are ready to become something new. Just imagine that there's this starlight coming through your solar plexus. In this moment in time, I want you to think about what it is that you want to release and say, I release you. You can listen to my weekend one for a more inclusive one, but today we're going to do a mini release and just say, I release mind, body, and spirit, anything which is holding me down or holding me back. I release all contracts, spoken and unspoken, explicit and implicit in this lifetime and in others, so that I can be free to decide, free to embrace, free to rise above. And feel that energy in your stomach now is melting through any of the cords, any of the connections that you have in your past life, in this life. And now it's just allowing you to rise and shine. And so see yourself as a phoenix rising from the ashes, or stepping through like a firefly into this unknown and embracing all of that sort of energy of discovery. See whatever you want to see as you step into the northern lights, through that cave, through that portal, into the other side, which is light and bright. What is it you're trying to become? See yourself as that new person. See that opportunity manifesting in front of your very eyes. I'm going to play here the crystal pyramid for a moment, and then we're going to answer your final question. So just enjoy. Step back and enjoy, and I'll be right with you. Just like that firefly, remember that the fire within you can be turned on at any moment. Never underestimate your power. Never underestimate your light. Choose to keep that light on now. Be aware, be present, see the signs of your manifestations all around you. The synchronicities are coming in. So you are the lighthouse, you are the firefly, you are the sun, the star. Keep that light shining. Keep the magnet pulling things towards you. Being decisive, asking for what you want, recognizing that it's here, also equally as important as you're working through this manifestation. Focus now on your final question, whatever it is that you might have been holding in your mind or in your heart for me, and let's see what's coming through. Precisely what we saw in the channel messages. Reversed, climb every mountain. Remember, we were talking about the sound of music. The caption on this one says responsibility, but what I like about this is we can see at the top that village, that light, that opportunity for something new. So, we'll go back to what I talked about earlier. This is a yes card, by the way, if you're looking for a yes, no. But just to kind of go back to some of the messages here, because I believe I highlighted this. So here's what I talked about. Finish what you started. The last leg of the journey is always the most trying, so stay the path. Climb every mountain and embrace the sense of accomplishment in seeing your plans come into fruition. So with that being said, you got that very same message. No surprise here because we have a lot of synchronicities coming through. The reversal of this is saying, I don't have to feel pressure anymore. I've come this far. It's really less about pressure to succeed and more about just responsibility in completing the task at hand. I owe it to myself, not to others. So we're going to walk back a little bit from peer pressure, walk back a little bit from being pushed into something, and just do something because it feels right. Even with the 10 of Wands, or especially with the 10 of Wands, you still can push back the way you did with the 7 of Wands, and oftentimes even more effectively. So a firm no really has the effect of being able to stop something or to get people to listen. So embrace your power, know your voice, know what you're trying to do, and you have a really great chance of graduation, completion, seeing something to fruition. One of the best cards that you could get. There may be a requirement for school or work to travel. So if you've been looking for travel opportunities, that's part of this. You may also be asked to do sort of like a seminar or a roadshow or an in-person sort of presentation in order to solidify a contract or an agreement. But across the board, the 10 of Wands is good. It does show movement, it does show completion, and it often requires moving, traveling, or stepping away from something in order to kind of see it come to a final phase. All right? So my friends, that brings us to the end of today's reading. Again, thank you to everybody that showed support today. I look forward to seeing you across all the different social media platforms. Special thanks if you were able to give back with SuperStickers or Super Chat. And I want to take a couple minutes to just acknowledge everyone. So really beautiful reading today. It's been like that for the past, I would say, couple of weeks here, just really powerful readings coming through. So I appreciate everybody that showed up and put that positive energy here. All right. So now for the folks that were able to give back, again, thank you so much to the new members here. We have a few new ones. While I'm doing this again, I hope to see Pisces this Thursday and everybody this Friday if you can make it, or on Sunday, because Friday and Sunday will be two different types of collectives. All right. So new members, we have Jean Vickers, brand new member. Thank you for joining. Carrie Hale coming back after 7 months. Thank you so much. Andy Esparza, thank you so much. Good to see you again. 12 months. Happy 1 year anniversary of being a supporter here. It's good to have you. Linda Burke, also, let's see, a brand new channel member. Thank you. Crystal Dawn, and I think this marks the last one that I'll mention because this was from yesterday. So thank you so much. So those should be the new members that joined today or within the past few hours. And now for the folks that gave back in the form of a super sticker or super chat. And then we'll go from there. All right. Lucy Rodriguez, thank you for kicking things off today. Catherine Keller, thanks for the lucky 22. I appreciate that. Sherry Wolf, much appreciation. Gina Gonzalez, Crystal McKnight, and Miriam. Good to have all of you here today. It looks like I grabbed everybody. Let me see if I missed anyone. Nope, that's it. All right. Thanks, folks, from Magical Reading today. Lots of love and light from Apollo and I. He's in sleepy time right now. I hope you're doing something great with this week ahead. I hope you have a really great month ahead. Again, there's a retrograde period in the middle, but you have such beautiful transformative energy. I see retrogrades as a chance to really sort of like turn a new corner, and you're definitely going to do that, okay? Take care of yourselves, and I appreciate you being present today. Until I see you again, have an amazing day, okay? Bye-bye.